The news spread quickly through the human fleet. On every ship, from the smallest scout to the largest warship, people stopped and listened. A human child was hurt, the message said. The words were like a spark, lighting a fire in the hearts of every human on those ships. On the flagship, Admiral Hayes stood by the window, his face calm but his eyes filled with anger. He watched the alien city below, its lights bright in the darkness. He spoke softly, but his voice was full of strength. "We will not let this go," he said. In the medical bay of the human ship, Mia lay on a soft bed. The human doctors worked, carefully to clean her wound and bandage her leg. She was tired and scared, but she felt safer now. Captain Eric stood by her side, holding her small hand. He spoke to her softly, telling her she was safe and that no one would hurt her again. Mia looked at him with wide eyes and nodded slowly. She didn't say much, but she felt hope in her heart. She wasn't alone anymore. On the human ships, soldiers checked their weapons, and pilots prepared their ships for battle. They didn't want to fight, but they would if they had to. Every human knew what this meant. If one child was hurt, it could be any of their children. They would not let that happen. In the command center, screens showed the alien city. Human officers watched carefully, studying every street and every ship. They wanted to know everything about the aliens who hurt Mia. Back in the city, the aliens started to feel nervous. They had heard the message too. They saw the human warships in the sky, silent but full of power. The alien leader, a tall being with dark eyes and blue skin, called his advisors. "Why are the humans so angry? It was just one child," he said. His advisors looked worried. "They see every human as family," one of them said softly. The alien leader frowned. "Then we must be careful," he said. But he didn't really understand. He didn't know what it meant to be human. Captain Eric spoke with Admiral Hayes through his communicator. "Sir, Mia is safe for now, but we can't let this be ignored. The aliens think this is small, but to us it is everything." Admiral Hayes nodded slowly. "You're right, Captain. Prepare for a meeting with their leaders. We will make them understand. And if they refuse—" He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Everyone knew what would happen if the aliens didn't take this seriously. Mia slept quietly in the medical bay, her breathing soft and calm. Captain Eric watched her and thought about his own daughter back home on Earth. He thought about all the human children who would hear about this and feel afraid. He knew he had to show them that humans protect their own. He looked at the alien city through the window. The streets were quiet, but he could feel the fear growing. Humans were not known for their anger, but when they were pushed too far, they were like a storm. The human ships moved closer to the city, their lights bright in the darkness. The aliens watched from their towers and felt a chill in their bones. They had thought the humans were weak because they loved too much. Now they saw that this love was not weakness, it was strength. In every ship, soldiers stood ready. In every heart, the same thought was there. No one hurts a human child and walks away without answering for it. Captain Eric walked back to Mia's bed and sat down beside her. He held her hand again and spoke softly. "Mia, you are not alone. We are all here for you." Mia opened her eyes and looked at him. She didn't speak, but she squeezed his hand. That small squeeze felt like a promise. Eric knew it was a promise he would keep no matter what. The alien leader called for a meeting with the human leaders. In a tall building with glass walls, the humans and aliens sat across from each other. The air was tense. Captain Eric spoke calmly but firmly. "A child was hurt. She is human, and that means she is not alone. You must bring us the ones who did this, or there will be consequences." The alien leader shifted in his seat, uncomfortable. "We are sorry for the child's pain, but surely this does not need to become war," he said. Eric looked at him with cold eyes. "We don't want war. We want justice. But if you refuse justice, you will leave us no choice." The meeting ended with no answers. The humans left the room, their faces hard. They had given the aliens a chance to do the right thing. Now it was up to them. Captain Eric walked back to the medical bay where Mia was awake and drinking warm tea. He smiled at her, but inside he was already planning. If the aliens didn't act, the humans would. Mia looked at him and saw the fire in his eyes. She didn't know what was coming, but she knew that humanity would not forget. The video ended with the human ships moving even closer to the alien city, their engines humming softly in the darkness. The camera showed Mia's small face, full of hope and fear. A soft voice whispered, "When one human child cries, all of humanity hears the cry." The screen faded to black, leaving the audience waiting for what would come next. The next morning, the human fleet floated above the alien city like silent watchers. The sky was full of human ships, their lights bright and cold. The alien city was quiet, but everyone could feel the tension in the air. In the human flagship, Admiral Hayes stood by the large window watching the city below. He looked calm, but his hands were tight behind his back. He knew this was a moment that would decide everything. In a tall building in the city, the human and alien leaders met again. The room was large and bright, with a long table in the center. The alien leader sat at one end, his face calm but his eyes cold. Captain Eric sat across from him, his eyes steady. Mia was safe in the medical bay, but her small face was always in his mind. He would not let them forget why they were there. Captain Eric spoke first. His voice was calm but strong. "You know why we are here," he said. "A human child was hurt. We want the ones who did it." The alien leader shifted in his seat. "It was just a mistake. The child was in the wrong place," he said. Eric's eyes turned cold. "It was no mistake. She was attacked because she was human." His words were simple, but they cut through the air like a knife. The alien leader frowned. "She is just one child," he said. Captain Eric leaned forward, his voice low. "To you, maybe. But to us, she is everything. She is our future." The alien leader looked away, uncomfortable. He didn't understand why humans cared so much for one child. In his world, the strong survived and the weak were forgotten. But humans were different. They stood together and they protected their own. Admiral Hayes watched quietly, letting Eric speak. He knew this was not just about one girl. This was about showing the aliens that humanity would not bend. Eric spoke again, his voice calm. "We don't want war. We want justice. Bring us the ones who hurt her and we will leave in peace." The alien leader looked at his advisors, who whispered in worried voices. They knew the humans were serious. They could see the human warships waiting above the city, ready to strike if needed. The alien leader tried to smile. "We will think about it," he said. Captain Eric stood up. "We have already waited long enough," he said. His voice was soft, but everyone in the room felt the power in his words. He turned and walked out of the room. Admiral Hayes followed, his face calm but his eyes hard. The aliens watched them go, feeling a cold fear in their hearts. Outside, the human soldiers stood in perfect lines, their weapons ready. They looked at Captain Eric as he walked by and they nodded. They didn't need words. They all felt the same thing. No more waiting. No more talking. If the aliens did not give them justice, they would take it. In the medical bay, Mia was awake and feeling stronger. She looked out the window and saw the human ships in the sky. She didn't know much about politics or war, but she knew one thing. She was not alone. The human medics smiled at her and brought her warm food. She felt safe, with them like she was with family. She didn't have to be afraid anymore. Captain Eric returned to the medical bay and sat beside her. He smiled at her softly. "Mia, do you feel better?" he asked. She nodded and gave a small smile. "Thank you," she whispered. Eric touched her small hand and said, "You are why we are here. You are the reason we fight." Mia didn't understand all the words, but she felt his promise. She knew he meant it. On the human ships, soldiers checked their weapons again. The pilots sat in their ships, engines warm and ready. They didn't want to hurt the aliens, but they would if they had to. They would protect the child. They would protect every human child. The alien leader stood in his office, looking out at the human ships. He felt a chill in his bones. He had thought the humans were weak because they cared so much. Now he saw that this care made them strong. He knew he had to decide quickly. If he gave up the attackers, maybe the humans would leave. If he didn't, there would be war. The video ended with a close-up of Captain Eric's face, calm and strong. His voice was soft but powerful. "We are here for one child," he said, "but we will stand for every child." The screen turned black, leaving the audience waiting for the next part of the story. The tension was growing and everyone knew the final choice was coming soon. The alien city was quiet, but everyone felt the weight of the human ships above them. The humans were waiting, and they would not wait much longer. In the command center of the human flagship, Admiral Hayes stood in front of a large screen. The faces of his officers looked back at him, serious and ready. Admiral Hayes spoke in a calm voice, but his eyes were cold. "They have one last chance," he said. "If they refuse justice, we will act." Captain Eric stood beside him. His thoughts were with Mia, the little girl in the medical bay. He knew she was safe for now, but he couldn't rest until the ones who hurt her were caught. He remembered how her small hand had squeezed his, how her eyes had been full of trust. He would not let her down. On the ground, in the alien city, the alien leader met with his advisors. His face was pale and his hands shook a little. He had seen the human ships in the sky, bright and full of silent power. "We cannot fight them," one advisor whispered. "They are too strong." The alien leader looked out the window and saw the human ships shining like stars. He knew the humans would not leave without justice. He had to decide. In the medical bay, Mia sat up in her bed, a small smile on her face. The human medic gave her a soft blanket and some warm tea. She looked out the window and saw the human ships in the sky. She felt safe. She knew these humans would protect her. She whispered softly, "Thank you," even though she knew they couldn't hear her from so far away. Back on the human flagship, Captain Eric looked at Admiral Hayes. "If they refuse, we will have no choice," he said. Admiral Hayes nodded. "We do not want to hurt them," he said, "but we will not let them hurt us again." The officers around them nodded in agreement. They knew what was at stake. This was not just about one child. It was about showing that no human child would be forgotten. A small alien ship came to the human flagship. It carried a message from the alien leader. The humans gathered to hear it. The alien leader appeared on the screen. His face was calm, but his eyes were worried. "We have found the ones who hurt the child," he said. "We will bring them to you." Captain Eric's face was hard. "Bring them here," he said. "We want to see them ourselves." In the alien city, the soldiers of the alien leader moved quickly. They searched the dark streets and the quiet homes. They found the aliens who had pushed Mia into the alley, who had laughed at her pain. The aliens were afraid now. They didn't think the humans would care so much. They didn't understand the power of human anger. They were brought to the city's main square where the humans waited. Captain Eric stood in the square, his face calm but his eyes like ice. Mia was there too, safe and wrapped in a warm blanket. She held a small stuffed animal the human medic had given her. She watched as the aliens who hurt her were pushed forward, their faces pale and their eyes downcast. Captain Eric looked at them and spoke in a quiet voice. "You hurt a child," he said. "You thought it didn't matter, but it matters to us." The alien leader looked at Captain Eric. "We have brought them to you. What will you do with them?" he asked. Eric didn't answer right away. He looked at Mia, her small face full of fear and hope. He knelt down and spoke to her softly. "You are safe now, Mia. They can't hurt you again." Mia looked at him and nodded. She didn't say a word, but she didn't have to. Eric stood and turned back to the alien leader. "We will take them back to our ship," he said. "They will face human justice." The alien leader nodded, his face pale. He knew he had no choice. The humans took the attackers and led them to a small ship that would take them up to the human fleet. The aliens watched silently, afraid to speak. As the ship lifted off, Captain Eric looked back at the alien city. It was quiet and still. He knew this was not the end. There would be more meetings, more talks. But for now, he had done what he had come to do. He looked at Mia and smiled softly. "We did it," he said. The video ended with a shot of the human ships moving slowly away from the city, the lights of Earth shining on their hulls. A soft voice whispered, "When a child is hurt, humanity answers, and they never forget." The screen faded to black, leaving the audience waiting for what would come next. Everyone knew this was just the beginning of a new chapter in the story. The human ship carrying the captured aliens moved quietly through space, heading away from the alien city. Inside, Captain Eric stood in the holding area, watching the prisoners, carefully. Their faces showed fear and anger, but none of them said a word. They knew humans were serious about justice. Mia sat nearby, wrapped in a warm blanket. She looked out the window at the stars and felt safe for the first time since the attack. Captain Eric sat beside her and smiled gently. "You're brave, Mia," he said. She looked up at him and gave a small smile. Even though she was still scared, she knew she was no longer alone. On the bridge of the flagship, Admiral Hayes spoke to his officers. "We must decide what to do next," he said. "These aliens broke the peace and hurt one of our own. We cannot ignore this." The officers nodded. Some wanted to punish the aliens quickly. Others wanted to find a peaceful way to stop more violence. The Admiral listened carefully to all opinions. Captain Eric walked to the communication room and sent a message to Earth. "A human child was hurt on an alien planet," he said. "We have the attackers in custody. We want Earth to know we are ready to protect every human." The reply came quickly. "We stand with you, Captain. Protect our people and show the galaxy what humanity means." Back on the alien planet, the alien leader gathered his people. He knew the humans would be watching. "We made a mistake," he said. "We must show the humans we want peace." But some aliens whispered that humans were too strong, and they feared what might come next. The city was quiet, but the tension was stronger than ever. Captain Eric returned to Mia's side. "We will make sure you and every child are safe," he promised. Mia looked up and nodded, her small hand reaching out to hold his. For the first time, she felt hope. The human fleet moved closer to the alien planet again. But this time, they were not just watching, they were ready. Ready to protect, ready to fight if needed. Captain Eric looked at the stars and whispered, "This is just the beginning. Humanity will never let one child fall alone." The video ended with a shot of Mia's peaceful face and the shining stars outside. A soft voice said, "When one human child is hurt, all of humanity stands together. This is our story, and it has only just begun." The human fleet stayed close to the alien planet. Every ship was ready. Soldiers practiced their drills, pilots checked their controls, and everyone waited for the next move. Captain Eric walked through the ship, feeling the weight of the moment. He thought about Mia and all the children who could be hurt if this fight grew bigger. He wanted peace, but he knew sometimes peace came only after standing strong. On the alien planet, the people were nervous. They watched the sky full of human ships. Many didn't want war, but they were afraid. The alien leader called a meeting with his council. "We must find a way to show the humans we want peace," he said. Some council members argued that the humans were too strong and fighting would be dangerous, but others agreed. "If we don't act, this war will destroy us all," one said quietly. Captain Eric received a message from the alien leader. The message was short but serious. "We want peace, let's meet." Eric told Admiral Hayes right away. The Admiral nodded. "Prepare a small team for the meeting," he said, "but keep the ships ready. We can't trust them yet." The meeting place was a small space station between the two planets. The air was tense as the humans and aliens met face to face. Captain Eric looked at the alien leader. "We want peace," he said. "But peace must be real. The ones who hurt Mia must be punished. And we want guarantees that no more harm will come to humans." The alien leader agreed. "We will punish those responsible. We do not want war." The talks were slow, but both sides wanted to find a way forward. Captain Eric felt a small hope. Maybe this was the start of something better. Back on the human ship, Mia smiled when she heard the news. She felt safe and cared for. Captain Eric promised her and all humans that they would protect the future, no matter what. The video ended with the stars shining bright outside the space station. A soft voice said, "Sometimes peace is hard, but when humanity stands together, hope can grow even in the darkest times." The talks on the space station continued, but not everything was easy. Some aliens did not want to follow the new path. They whispered in dark corners, angry and afraid. They didn't trust humans and wanted to keep their power by force. Captain Eric knew peace was fragile. One night, a sudden alarm sounded on the space station. Lights flashed red, and soldiers rushed to their posts. Someone had attacked the station. Chaos filled the halls as people ran to find safety. Captain Eric grabbed his communicator. "All teams, stay alert. Protect Mia and keep calm," he ordered. Mia was scared but brave. She held Captain Eric's hand tightly as they moved to a safe room. The humans and aliens who wanted peace worked together to stop the attackers. The fight was quick but fierce. The attackers wanted to destroy the chance for peace. After the danger passed, Captain Eric looked around the room. Everyone was safe, but the attack showed how hard the road ahead would be. "We must be stronger," he said. "Not just with weapons, but with trust." The alien leader nodded. "Some of my people want war, but I want peace," he said. "We must prove it," the humans agreed. They knew trust could not be rushed. Back on the human fleet, Admiral Hayes watched the space station from a distance. He knew the attack was a warning. "We must be ready," he said, "but we will not give up." Mia, wrapped in a soft blanket, looked at the stars through the station's window. She didn't understand all the politics, but she felt hope. Captain Eric smiled at her and promised, "No matter what, we will protect you." The video ended with the space station shining brightly in the dark space. A calm voice whispered, "Even in the darkest moments, hope can grow. Humanity never gives up." The days passed slowly after the attack on the space station. Both humans and aliens worked hard to rebuild trust. Captain Eric and the alien leader met often, sharing ideas and hopes. They knew peace was fragile, but they believed it was worth fighting for. Mia grew stronger every day. She laughed softly and played with a small toy the humans had given her. Her smile was a light in the dark, reminding everyone why they must protect the future. One morning, the alien leader called a meeting with his people. "We must choose a new path," he said. "War will only bring pain. We will punish those who tried to stop peace, and we will work with the humans to build a better world." Many aliens nodded. They were tired of fear and fighting. They wanted hope too. Captain Eric watched from the human flagship. He felt a deep pride. Humanity had stood up not just for themselves, but for what was right. "One child's pain united us all," he said quietly. "We will protect every child, no matter where they are." The human fleet slowly left the alien planet's orbit. They were ready to return home, but stayed close enough to help if needed. The humans and aliens had taken the first step toward peace, but the journey was just beginning. Mia stood on the deck of the human ship, looking at the stars. She knew she was safe now. Around her, people whispered stories of courage and unity. They spoke of how one small girl's hurt had changed the galaxy. The video ended with a wide shot of the stars, shining bright and full of promise. A calm voice said, "When one human child is hurt, all of humanity responds. Together we are stronger. Together, we will never be broken."